Hey guys, so for today I have a pretty exciting video because you guys have been just requesting this so much. Pretty much today's video is going to be a Morphe brushes collection review and swatches video. I'm going to be showing you guys everything I own from Morphe brushes. The first thing I'll talk about is the eyeshadows because that is the #1 thing that everyone is kind of probably watching this video for. I do have 36 eyeshadows from Morphe, so I have a ton to show you guys and review and swatch and everything like that. These eyeshadows are $2 each. Absolutely incredible, and I know some people are probably thinking $2, like they're probably not that good of quality. They're honestly better quality than some MAC shadows, and they pretty much measure up to Makeup Geek shadows as well. Some of them are actually even better than Makeup Geek eyeshadows, but we'll go into that. And I feel like when it comes to these shadows, I'll just say right now, I won't say that they're better than Makeup Geek, and I won't say that they're not. I feel like certain shadows are better than Makeup Geek and certain shadows aren't, but I'll go into that when I kind of talk more about the shadows. I just want to show you guys first off that this is my Morphe palette. I also do have another one. As you can see, I keep all of my eyeshadows in MAC palettes. Now the reason I keep them in MAC palettes is because I do like how they have individual inserts. It just makes it look so much more classy and neat as opposed to the Z palette. You can buy these MAC palettes even cheaper than the Z palettes. I think they're like 10 bucks. But like I said, these are the eyeshadows that I picked out. These shadows sell individually on their own for $2, and I picked them out myself and kind of created my own little palette. I am going to be going through every single eyeshadow, and I personally feel like these apply even better on the lid than they do swatched. For some reason, I'm not really sure why. But I will just kind of give a quick mini review before I go into each shadow that I have. I absolutely love these shadows. I feel like if you want some really great quality shadows, but you know you're on a budget and you can't really afford, even Makeup Geek can be kind of expensive. I mean, obviously Makeup Geek's affordable. It's like $6 for each shadow. But if you think about it, it can be pricey for some people. If they pick up a couple eyeshadows, their total can be maybe already 80 bucks or 100 bucks. You know what I mean? So I feel like for some people who are really on like a tight budget, $2 for a shadow that's extremely good quality is amazing. So you guys seriously need to get your hands on these. And I will just say shipping is not that bad. I always get the question, how much did you pay for shipping? Because I do live in Canada, and I paid $10 shipping for Canada. And I know to some of you who live in the US, you might be like, whoa, that's a lot. But trust me, I am grateful and blessed to have paid $10 for shipping, because I've had to pay $20 before and $25 before. Canada shipping and international shipping is cray-cray when you're buying things from the US. So the fact that they only charged $10 was awesome. Like, to me, that's a steal. Back to the quality of these, I really like them. I personally, just a quick overview, I find that the mattes are a lot more dry than I'm kind of used to. I use Makeup Geek and Lorac Pro palette like a lot, and their mattes are very creamy and they're just very smooth. These mattes are they're more dry. They're not as creamy as a Makeup Geek matte is, and they are a little bit more, I don't want to say chalky, because chalky just it's just a bad word. Not powdery either, they're just a little bit more dry in texture. But the pigmentation's awesome, they work amazingly. The fact that they are a little bit more dry in texture actually can be a little bit of a pro because they are less in fallout. So these shadows are amazing with fallout, let me just say that. Even when I use the black underneath my eye, and I kind of use like a fluffy brush just to kind of fluff it in there, no fallout because the black is a matte. And like I said, the mattes are a little bit more dry, which in turn helps with the fallout. So it's like a give and take. If you want a creamy matte, it's going to kind of have a little bit of fallout, whereas these are a little bit more dry, but you're not going to have as much fallout. They're not chalky or powdery or anything like that at all, though. They're honestly great quality shadows. Another thing that I want to say is, holy freaking crap. The pressed, I almost said pressed pigments because I swear that's what these remind me of. These shadows that are more on the shimmer side, they are like pressed pigments. Like, you would think that they are a pressed pigment because of how freaking pigmented they are. I have never in my life had such an amazing shimmer color apply so nicely. Usually I personally have a tough time with shimmers because I find that it looks so nice in the pan and so nice on my finger. I put it on the lid and it's like, it doesn't have that pop. Like, where did that pop go when I swatched it on my finger? But then these ones, when I put the shimmer shadows on my lid, the intensity of the pigmentation and the smooth and just how great they apply is amazing. It went on the lid the way that a MAC pigment would with Fix Plus. Like, you don't need water or Fix Plus or anything to apply these shimmer shadows because they go on as if Fix Plus is already built in them. Pretty much that is just my little individual wrap up for these shadows, but I am just going to go ahead and go through with you guys each shadow and how I feel about the colors, and I'm also going to let you guys know which shadow as I go along is like a must have, and what I feel like if you're going to buy some shadows, I feel like you need this one. I will let you guys know as I go along because I know I did buy 36 eyeshadows and not everyone wants to do that, so I'll let you guys know which ones I personally feel are a must have and which ones I would purchase again if I had to kind of narrow it down. I'll just go ahead and start with this one first. So the first one over here is actually in the shade 03, and this one is a really great kind of just cream color. It's a matte shade, and it's just a really nice peachy cream ivory shade that's really nice for the lid or the brow bone if you want like a nice matte subtle highlight. I really love that one. I personally feel like it's just kind of a staple, so everyone needs a good highlight. The next one over is in the shade 02, and this one is just pretty much an ivory perfect lid shade, but it's a little bit more of a pearl slash sheen. So this one again is a great highlight. It just depends on if you prefer a shimmer highlight or a matte highlight. So the next one over is 54, and 54 is just a really pretty gold, but it's a very white gold. Like it's not like a chrome in your face yellow gold. It's that like white champagne ivory type of gold. This one is so nicely pigmented. It goes on just like a pressed pigment. Something I just really quickly also want to say before I move on that I forgot to include in the intro is that I personally feel like Morphe has had one of the best shades selections I've ever seen in eyeshadows, and that's what really caught my attention. You're gonna find a ton of different neutrals that have different undertones and different shades and amazing colors, and you'll also find some really great pops of color that are just awesome. Like their shade selection is on point, seriously. So the next one is the shade 60. Holy crap, let me just say I love this shade. I am obsessed. I don't know exactly if this is a dupe for Max Wedge, but if you have Max Wedge, let me know because I don't own Max Wedge at all, but whenever I see people use Max Wedge, it's kind of like a very muted camel taupe color, and this reminds me of that. This one is a matte, but I will tell you it's not that dry. This one's actually pretty creamy for a matte. Only some of the mattes are pretty dry. It is so pretty. I'm like obsessed with this shade. It's the most gorgeous muted taupe color that I love to just dust in the crease, and it's honestly awesome. So the next shade, this one is a matte, and this is one of the ones that I was telling you is a little bit more of a drier matte. This one is 62, and I absolutely love this shade. The pigmentation is on point. I have this shade dusted right into my crease, and it's just amazing. It's this really nice like tan camel color, and I would say that 60 and 62 are a must, like a must. I love those for the crease. So 01 is a really pretty light pink shade, almost a little bit of a lavender tone to it, but it's a pretty pink. I personally wouldn't buy this one again just because I don't really know, it's not really a shade that I kind of go for, but if you like on the lid like a really nice pale pink, extremely pale, like it almost turns into like an ivory pink, it's absolutely gorgeous. It really, really is. So next is the shade 06. I love this shade. I can see myself using this shade more in the summer just because it's an absolutely gorgeous peachy slight pink, but it's definitely more of like a salmon peach, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I can just see myself dusting this all over the lid and having it as a really great pop of color. So the next one is 76. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous, amazing. Like I can't even explain how much I'm in love with this color. This is the color that I actually used in my Mauves and Copper makeup tutorial. As you can see, this is like a copper, but a very like orangey, champagne-y copper. It's very different. And I was in love with the way that this applied. It applies as if it is a pressed pigment that's already wet and ready to go. Like it just applies amazingly. And for the fact that it's $2, it blows my freaking mind. This is definitely a shade that you need to pick up. So next is the shade 13, and I love this shade. This one is not quite as dry as number 62. For a matte, it is actually a little bit on the creamy side. It's not too creamy, but it's not too dry either. I love this shade for a transition color. It reminds me of a lot of kind of like a creme brulee color, except a little bit darker. Creme brulee by Makeup Geek, that is. And I really, really love it. It's honestly gorgeous. Like, it's so pretty. If you are a neutrals junkie and you like love some neutral shadows, you need number 13 in your life. So next is the shade 64, and 64 is awesome, but I will just say 64 and 13 are very, very, very similar. You might as well just pick one that you like. They're extremely, extremely similar. Looking back at them, I wish I would have just picked one. But they definitely are different. Like, they're similar but different to the point where you gotta choose one because you don't really need both of them. But they're different enough for you to have to see which one you prefer. Do you know what I mean? 64 is definitely way more on the orange side, whereas 13 is definitely warm, and it does have that orange, like, you know, creme brulee kind of orange tone warm into it. But like I said, 64 does come off way more orange. So just so you guys can see them side by side, this right here is 13 and this right here is 64. So the next shade is 15, and this is definitely in the same family as 13 and 64, but it's a lot darker. So you can definitely get this one and either 13 or 64. It is a really nice dark camel shade, dark tan, and I am obsessed with it. So the next one is the shade 20. And 20 is, again, it's a shimmer, so it feels like a pressed pigment, and it is just amazing. Like, seriously guys, do you see the pigmentation on that? It is like touching a wet pigment. This color is, it's beautiful. It really is. It's like a mix of a rose gold, bronzy, tanny bronze. I don't really know, but it is awesome. Like, it's so flipping gorgeous, and I'm obsessed with it. So next is the shade 22. 22 is a dark chocolate color. It's not a shimmer shade and it's not a matte. I would say that this one has a little bit of a sheen, and it's a really great dark chocolate color. So next is the shade 61. I am obsessed with the shade 61. It is the perfect neutral brown that's not too dark. It has a little bit more of a warmth to it, just a tiny bit, but it's still very neutral and has a little bit more on, it's a little bit more on the camel side, but I really, really, really like it. It's honestly really gorgeous to dust in the crease. Now, the last shade on the top of the palette is 63. Now, 63 is gorgeous, but I will say that 63 and 61 are very, very, very similar. If I would say something's different about them, I would say that 63 is a little bit more on the chocolate side. This is 63. It has a little bit more of a chocolate tone to it. So now onto the bottom of the palette. As you can see, I have a lot of great pops of color that I got, but I also have some great plums to show you guys. So I'm excited about the bottom of the palette as well. The first shadow on the bottom half is the shade 16. I love this color. This color is so pretty. I use this in my Mauves and Copper tutorial. It is just a really nice dusty rose, mauve-y, plummy transition shade. And this one is a matte, but it definitely is a little bit more creamy than some of the drier mattes. So next is the shade 20. The shade 20 is extremely dry. It is a matte shade and it is not creamy at all. It's very, very, very dry. But if you look at what was on my finger, pigmentation.com. Like, you don't have to worry, you know what I mean? Like, it might be a little bit dry, but the quality is awesome. This one is a great, amazing shade. I used this in my Mauves and Copper tutorial, and it is such a great color. It is that perfect maroon, but it's not too dark of a maroon that it looks brown. And sorry, that one was the shade 71. I'm not sure if I said that. The next shade is amazing. You kind of just gotta smooth over it, maybe a few times, go back and forth to kind of smooth over the grittiness, but once you first pick it up, the shimmers in it kind of pile up. It's a really gorgeous, it looks brown on camera. It definitely is a nice plummy maroon brown. It's more of a dark eggplant shade, and I feel like this would be awesome all over the lid to do like a nice dark smoky eye. So next is the shade 26, and this is definitely as dry as number 75 is, the maroon shade. This one is basically a plum shade. So you had the maroon, and this one is just more of the plum. Just a dark vampy purple shade, and I love it for the crease as well. And this is the shade 24. 24 is such a different color. I have never seen, or I don't even own, a color like this. Amazing. It is like, it's a chocolate, but it's a little bit more of a maroony, reddy, burnt brown chocolate. Like, it has so many different undertones. I just feel like it's all these different amazing shades mixed into one. So it's just a really awesome alternative to using your, you know, normal brown shade. It kind of has a little bit of a different tone to it. So I feel like that shade personally is a must. So next is the shade 74, and this is, again, another like pressed pigment type of shade. It's absolutely amazing. This is your perfect copper shade. It is a straight up dark bronzy copper, and it is so gorgeous. If you love like these bronzy coppery warm shades for the lid, you will fall in love with this. So the next color is 75. Like, hello, come on, it's gorgeous. It is a orange gold shade. It's gold, but it's definitely a very orangey gold shade. So next is the shade 18, and 18 is gorgeous. 18 is, again, a little bit more like when you swatch it, you kind of get clumps, but then you kind of have to smooth it out. It is an amazing cool tone silver, and it does have a little bit of a blue-gray undertone to it. I think it's a really awesome color. I'm actually kind of wanting to do an eye look with that and kind of play around with it. So next is the shade 26. A little bit dry, but it is a matte shade, and it is awesome. It's just a really great black brown. So next is the shade 28, and it is their black. I will just say their black for me was a huge disappointment. So that is pretty much it for all of the neutrals. Now we're getting into the pops of color, and I'm super excited to show you guys which pops of color I chose. So next up is 80, and 80 is this gorgeous, beautiful freaking teal shade that is just awesome. And this shade to me isn't like amazing in pigmentation. It definitely has great pigmentation, but I feel like you would probably have to layer this 2 times to get it to be very opaque. Next is the shade 58, and 58 is a gorgeous magenta pink color, almost pretty much a dupe for the one that comes in the Urban Decay Electric palette. It is a little bit dry, but it's a matte shade, amazing quality magenta bright pink. So next is the shade 38, and 38 is this gorgeous iridescent purple. And this purple's awesome because it kind of reflects a pinky purple. It's kind of, I feel like, a duochrome where you get like a purple slash pink slash lilac, like you get all these different shades of purple. So next is number 49, and 49 is absolutely gorgeous, like gorgeous. It is this amazing navy blue that I wish I had when I did my navy blue smoky eye tutorial. It also is a sheen, so it's not a matte, it has like a sheen to it. Next is the shade 73, which I am again in love with. By the way, 38 and 49 are very creamy, and 73 is very creamy as well. 73 is this amazing, gorgeous green khaki color that I have just been obsessed with lately, and I love it. It also does have a little bit of a sheen, so it's not completely matte, but I personally adore it. I would love to wear this all over the lid with a really nice tan color in the crease and just call it a day. Personally for me, I feel like the navy 49 and the khaki 73 are a must for fall because those are perfect fall pops of colors. So now on to the second one. I have 6 more shadows to show you guys. So next is this really pretty shade called 05, and I believe that they describe this one as a cotton candy pink. It totally is not pink, guys. It is like a salmon orange shade. It is a really gorgeous shade. I can honestly see myself using it in the summer. So next is number 12, and number 12 is this amazing lilac shade. It is, however, not as pigmented as I would like it to be, or as I hoped it to be. It has these specks of gold in it. And in the swatch, I tried to show you guys these specks of gold. Hopefully it's coming off. I am, however, kind of disappointed in this shadow. I expected it to be a little bit more pigmented and a little bit more like the pressed pigment. However, it's a little bit more kind of dry. Nonetheless, an amazing shade that I would still pick up just because it's that gorgeous. It definitely has like that duochrome gold purple to it, and it's awesome. It's an awesome shade. Oh, and next is the shade 50, and 50 is very creamy, however not as pigmented. Even though I'm kind of keep on digging my finger in there, I don't get too much pigmentation. You probably would have to layer this, I mean like 2 times or 3 to kind of get a nice pigmentation. Most of these shadows, like 98% of them, or 99 even, are amazing in pigmentation, except that odd even 1 or 2. So I just kind of want to make sure that I noted in to you guys which ones aren't as pigmented so you're not super disappointed if you choose to get them. This one is a lilac purple, but it is more on the kind of periwinkle side, if you know what I mean, like more of the gray blue lilac purple. So next is 59, and 59 is definitely more on the dry side, but it does not disappoint with pigmentation. You get amazing pigmentation. This one is like your perfect berry shade. So next is the shade 23, and 23 is a really gorgeous muted lilac gray shade that I feel is really, really nice if you're doing a really nice mauve look. It's very pretty, but it's definitely not like, I mean, you won't miss out too much if you don't get this shadow, you know what I mean? So next and last is the shade 14, and it is awesome. It's super creamy. It is a matte shade, and it's this really gorgeous wearable orange. And I say wearable because you could totally put this in the crease and it'd still be wearable, but it definitely is in orange, you know. If you love warm tones and oranges, then you will adore this shade. It is absolutely awesome. Okay, so now that we are done with these single eyeshadows, I'm going to move on to some other palettes that I have from Morphe, and also another makeup item that I have from them. Now, I'd want to just say that these 3 palettes that I'm going to show you guys were sent to me by Morphe, as well as the brushes and as well as the gel eyeliner that I'm going to talk about. But I did not have to make this video at all in any way, shape, or form. I was just sent to them to kind of try out and see what my thoughts are, but I decided to go ahead and purchase these single shadows on my own with my own money. But because this is a full like Morphe collection review video type thing, I'm deciding to show you guys some of the other things that I have from them. Now, I do have some more eyeshadows from them, and it is the 2 eyeshadow palettes that I have. And I want to just say I am not too crazy about the eyeshadow palettes, I'll be extremely honest. I personally don't feel like they're as good quality in the palettes as they are in the individual shadows. So I will definitely say to you guys, if you are going to purchase any shadows from Morphe, go ahead and just buy these single shadows. Honestly, that's my like advice to you, because the individual shadows literally feel as if they could be $20 to $30 a pop, whereas these, they do feel cheap and you get what you pay for. Do you know what I mean? These are a lot similar to BH Cosmetics eyeshadows in the way that they're pretty chalky and not that pigmented. So now on to the blush palette that they sent me. This is in the shade 10B. I absolutely love these colors, and I love the quality of these. The quality of these are a lot better than BH Cosmetics. I do own a BH Cosmetics blush palette, and I'm not a fan. Like, to be honest, I'm not a fan. I love the Morphe blush palette. It is so much better quality, a lot more pigmented, and not as chalky. So I did just want to kind of include that quickly, that I do feel like there's a huge difference in quality in the single shadows and the palettes. So just putting that out there. Really quickly, I do have one makeup item from Morphe that they also sent me and I tried out. It is their gel liner, and I just want to say this is the best gel liner I've ever tried, for the simple fact that it is so easy to work with. I personally am a liquid liner junkie. I will forever be loyal to liquid liner because it is just the best. But if I ever do want to use a gel liner, this is what I've been reaching for because I love it. I feel like it's so smooth, which makes it so easy to work with and so beginner friendly. It's, however, not as black as I would like it to be. But I personally feel like every gel liner I've tried is definitely not like harsh black like I like. I always have to go in with my liquid liner to get that really nice black. And I actually heard Jaclyn Hill, she used this in her last tutorial and she loved it. So seriously, amazing gel liner. So I do just kind of want to talk about the brushes kind of quickly and just mention my thoughts on them. So they actually sent me their entire gunmetal collection, which includes many more brushes than these. But out of all the brushes that I own, I did just want to narrow it down to the ones that I specifically have been using and I've been kind of getting the most use of and that I personally like the most. And this is the one that I actually bought on my own. This is the Morphe MB23. I love this brush. I'm not too sure if you guys can really tell, but this is an awesome, like, tapered kind of crease brush. This really reminds me of the E38 from Sigma. It's kind of like a diffused crease brush. The quality of them so far are awesome. I haven't been using them for a long period of time, so I obviously can't attest to that. But I will just say so far my initial reaction off them is that they're great quality. Now the ones that I've been getting the most use out of is the one that I've been using for concealer, and this is the Morphe G2 brush. I personally love the packaging, but I love this brush. The quality is awesome. They're super soft. This brush is so nice and dense, but I love it for concealer because it's like short and chubby, but it's still kind of tapered, if you see what I mean. And I just feel like it fits perfectly in that under eye, and I've been using this a lot in my tutorials recently. Next, I've really been loving the G8 for setting my under eye. It's kind of like a flat paddle brush, and I've really been liking it for setting it with a really nice under eye powder. I've really been enjoying it. I feel like it just kind of sits in there perfectly. Next are these two bronzing brushes. This one is G5, and G5 is kind of like a tapered oval shape. I've really been liking it to use it on days where I want to bronze and contour with the same brush and I'm kind of in a rush, because I feel like the fluffiness of it, you can kind of bronze, but then that really tapered tip, I can add a darker shade and kind of get a little bit of a contour going. You know what I mean? Like I can kind of do both with this brush. This brush is awesome because this is just straight up a great bronzer brush. I really like it. It is a little bit more dense than I'm used to, however, so you do pack on a little bit more product, but it's awesome for blending it out as well. This one is the G7, and I've really been liking it. So last is their flat top kind of kabuki brush, and you guys know I am like, flat top kabuki from Sigma is my holy flipping grail. And honestly, I've just accepted the fact that it'll always be my holy grail, like always. I will always recommend that brush to the death of me, no matter what other dupe that I try. But this is the G6, and it is, again, like kind of like a flat top kabuki dupe. I love it. This one is smaller than the Sigma one, but I love it. It's awesome. It's really great. Out of all of the flat top kabukis that I've tried that could be a dupe for Sigma, this is probably the best just because I felt like it was as dense as the Sigma one. And this is actually what I used to apply my foundation today. It really applied my foundation like really flawlessly and smooth, and I really enjoyed how it looked. Now I do just want to mention, if you guys are going to be ordering from Morphe, you can get 10% off from their website. I'll link her code down below. It's just Jack Attack. I'll leave it down below for you guys if you want to get 10%. I'm obviously not affiliated with that in any way. I'm kind of just promoting her code because you obviously get 10% off, and who wouldn't want 10% off? I used the code and I got like $8 off, and it was awesome. So that is pretty much it for my Morphe brushes collection review, swatches, all of that jumbled into one video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna guess that this video was really long because my camera's dying for a second time now. But yeah, that is pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want me to kind of do more in the future, then thumbs up this video so that I can get the message. And also, please don't forget to subscribe because we are so flippin' close, so close to 50,000 subscribers, and I'm so grateful. I've been preparing to do a huge 50,000 subscriber giveaway. I actually just placed an order on Sephora the other day for you guys. Super exciting. So the closer we get to 50,000 subscribers, the closer we can get that giveaway on. So share my videos, like my videos, watch my videos, share them with your friends on your social media, and that'll just help me out a lot. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll of course see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah. Beginner's video for you guys, and this one's going to be makeup items that I think should be in a beginner's makeup collection / kit, whatever you really want to say. Basically, just if you're a beginner in makeup, these are